And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, man.
Merry Christmas.
Do you notice that I have Christmas socks on? Ish.
I did
Christmas
not notice.
colours.
Can you explain where wearing, I don't want to use the term, I will. Where wearing not matching socks came from when you train?
I've always liked not wearing matching socks for some reason.
Since
but I've
training
done it.
or for all time?
No. Since starting training.
Yeah. Why?
I have no idea.
No?
It just started randomly, and it just...
Does it have
just
anything
so
to do with the shirt that you're wearing?
No.
No,
No,
it
like
doesn't?
I used to wear not matching socks before Odd Socks was a weightlifting gym.
Before it was a weightlifting gym or before you trained there?
No,
How long has it been around?
Odd Socks?
Yeah.
Like 30... Oh, not 30, like maybe like 3-4 years.
Okay.
Maybe a bit longer.
Mm.
Like, I think we started before Odd Socks started.
Really?
Potentially. Yeah.
Oh, as like out of McGrath's Hill?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Possibly. But yeah, I always wore Odd Socks, like even back in the day when we were doing CrossFit.
Yeah.
Oh, no. It started when I started wearing regular shoes, because at first I used to wear 5 fingers.
Yeah, you used to wear the Vibrams.
Yep.
Do you look back on that now embarrassed?
No, I look back on it fondly.
Do you?
Yeah, like, there is nothing cooler than having shoes that have toes on them.
Yeah, there's heaps of things that are cooler than that.
Like what?
Wearing normal shoes, for starters.
Yeah, look, it wasn't... I was one of those people that was, like, high on that bet. I drank a lot of Kool-Aid back then.
Did you? Yeah, you did.
I had that. I had the mechanics gloves
Oh, yeah,
that everyone used to wear. That Spieler and stuff used to wear.
Mm.
Did anyone guess that Kalipa reference that we did that?
No one said anything. Well, no one said anything anyway. But I guess that's the issue when you only have 2 listeners.
That's true.
Mm.
That is sad.
That is sad.
But yeah, I wore the mechanics gloves. I wore 5 fingers.
Mm.
Wore my hat backwards all the time. What else did they do? Never wore a shirt.
Mm. Kipped.
I kipped a lot.
Kipped a lot. Kipped everything. Did stupid things. You used to do things that, like that video of you doing the push-up on the plates, that may be why your shoulders still aren't good today. And that was 6 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, that started me off. Like, my shoulders were perfectly fine up until I did that.
Mm.
And then that gave me grief.
Like, do you look back on that and think that started a range of shoulder issues?
Yeah. Like, that was so dumb.
So for those who don't know, Andy did this, like, how tall would it have been? It would have been over a metre.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, it would have been a bit over a metre from a push-up position with then metre-high stacked plates for both hands and both feet, and did like a jumping push-up onto the top. But to get there, he had to like reach behind his body to get his hands up there and then pull through from that position. And I think that's why his shoulders are still no good today.
Mm. And I did that before you could go viral on Instagram.
Yes. Yeah. Do you think that would have gone viral on Instagram?
No.
No.
Maybe.
I think
People do a lot more impressive stuff nowadays on Instagram.
Yeah. I also feel like, though, it's just luck of the draw sometimes, the people that go viral on Instagram.
Mm.
Like,
Yeah, like I see some like shitty memes that go viral and I'm like, oh, that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But it's not.
But it's nothing special.
Yeah. I like that wiretap meme, which gets me to this day.
Still?
Yeah.
Yeah, we spoke about that last episode.
I know.
That
Or
wiretap
the other meme that you sent me, the one where, I didn't even want to say this on the podcast because it's pretty dirty. But it's the one. It's like, why does she taste like Steve's dick?
What? I didn't send you that.
You did.
No, I didn't.
It was so, like it's like that Riley Jensen one, where she there's 2 people sleeping in the bed, and she's like, haha, he doesn't realize that I've been fucking his best friend. And then he's like sitting there like thinking to himself, oh, why does she taste like Steve's dick?
I don't remember sending you that at all.
You did. Oh, if not, I'll show it to you.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
Yeah, I don't
You
think
sent it to me.
It may not have been me. You sent me one of those Riley Jensen ones ages ago, and that's why I started following the page, because I think it was a private page.
Yeah. They're all private. Bro, that gets me so mad.
Yeah.
I understand what they're doing, and I hate them for it.
Yeah.
These fucking meme pages constantly making me follow them.
Mm.
So I just follow, or now I just get them to screenshot me.
Yeah.
Or if it's a video, I'll try and send it to people.
Yeah. Yeah, because I follow a lot of useless meme pages now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it wrecks your... Like, I'm super addicted to my phone right now. And I think I've talked about this on the podcast before.
Yeah.
Like, it's so hard for me not to just constantly be checking my Instagram, Facebook,
Yeah.
mail even. Just like...
Yeah.
And I'm trying to stop. And I think those meme pages are a big culprit in that.
Mm. Do you want to intro the podcast?
Yeah. Hey guys, welcome to the Uneducated Opinions podcast. I'm Andy. This is Steve. This is a podcast about anything and everything where two guys sit down, chat, talk about things that they have no business talking about, and this is the result.
You notice that in the first 10 episodes we mentioned sitting down with a beer, and it's gradually phased out of the intro now.
Yeah.
Because now we don't have to sit down with a beer if we can avoid it. I really wish we were sitting down with a beer today though. Even though it's too early in the morning to be having a drink, it is the Christmas podcast.
Do you want
and
a beer?
I feel like we should be having a beer.
Do you want a beer?
No, it's 8:30 in the morning. No, I can't have a beer.
But do you want it?
I would like to, but we won't have one.
I'll go get one.
Will you have one?
Yeah.
Let's pause and let's get a beer.
No pause. You just keep talking. Tell everyone about this tree, where you bought it, why you bought it, and the esky idea. Because I think it makes the podcast look really nice.
So we had the idea when we started setting up the studio that we would be able to have obviously some sort of prop every week to come in, and then I thought a good staple, because the podcast was supposed to be about about beers and doing a beer review and just drinking a beer while we chat. I thought it'd be a good idea to have an esky that we could pull our beer out of. Obviously, this is the first episode we have an esky, and being 8:30 in the morning, the plan was not to have a beer today. But being the Christmas podcast and that this is going to come out a couple of days after Christmas, I think it would be nice to be sipping a beer as well. It seems proper. And the tree, I just wanted to get something a little bit Christmassy. I don't know if you can see, if you're listening to the podcast, you can't see, but if you're watching it on YouTube, we're wearing our Santa hats today as well. And he's just brought up 2 Great Northerns.
And it is before.
You're going to froth over. Didn't cheers.
Damn it. I can't believe that we're drinking beer before 9 a.m.
Yeah. You know, any day where you start drinking beer before 9 a.m. generally ends up as a really massive day. But I'm going to leave here and go back to work.
Me too. Oh, yeah, I actually do have work to do.
Yeah. Do you have like fish tank stuff to do?
Yeah.
Cheers. Merry Christmas.
Right. This actually feels nice to have a beer with this podcast. I've been thinking that lately this podcast has been missing something.
And it's the beer?
And I think it's the beer.
Do you think that if... I'm only putting it out there, but do you think that if we did do our 8 a.m. podcast or our 8:30 podcast, if we had a beer with it, because it's that time of the morning where it's not like you're going to leave and have another beer,
Yeah.
do you think it's probably actually maybe the best time to do it?
Yes.
And then if you're going to train in the afternoon as well, you have like 8 hours before you're even going to train?
Yeah. Yeah, so like we've been tracking, Adrian likes a beer, and when he has beers at night time, it messes up his sleep, his recovery, and everything. But if he has beers early enough, like straight after work or whatever, then it doesn't mess him up as much. And he's not having a lot of beer; he's just having.
He just enjoys a beer.
Yeah, has a beer, but like if he has it late at night, it'll affect his sleep.
Yeah, interesting.
Mine's still frothy.
Yeah, still very frothy. What'd you do? Did you bash it when you were putting it down?
No, I must have been running and like...
Oh, okay. Do you think that we are not allowed to have beers at 8 o'clock in the morning just purely because of the societal stigma?
Yeah, I mean, it is a bit ridiculous if we think about it, that we're drinking beer. But actually,
is
this
it?
tastes really nice.
But is it?
Oh.
Like, it's tasting good. God damn it, Andy.
My bad.
Like, it's tasting good, so why are you not allowed to have a beer in the morning? That's my question.
I don't know. I mean, I just finished training, and I haven't eaten breakfast. I haven't eaten any... Have you had any food? Oh, okay. So I'm having a beer on an empty stomach.
That's okay.
Where Do you know when you get breathalyzed in the morning, and they're like, "Have you had any beers?" And you're like, "Are you crazy? Who fucking drinks at this time in the morning?"
I think they're more aiming for people
who hung over from the night
who were
before.
hungover from the night before, though.
Yeah,
as a general rule.
But you know, they ask the question as if like, "Have you had any drinks like this morning?" And you're like, "No."
Do you think coming into the Christmas period, it is acceptable in the festive season to have beers early?
Probably, but like we're dressed up. It's Christmas. I still don't understand why the stupid tree doesn't have like a proper point.
Don't know. That's what happens when you buy something from Woolies.
You bought the tree from Woolies? I like it, and I appreciate you bringing something new in. Because was it Anna that said that you should have something new?
Yeah.
For every episode.
Yeah. No, that was me who said that.
Oh.
And then she said the kite was stupid. But what does she know?
The kite was stupid.
No. The SpongeBob kite was cool.
I think this is a lot cooler. Hopefully it doesn't go off.
Do you have, with your family on Christmas morning, will you guys have like mimosas or anything? Like, or eggnog?
No.
Or anything like that with
But we
brekkie?
also celebrate Christmas on the 24th.
Do you? On
Like
Christmas
on
Eve?
the Christmas night. Like we'll go up until 12, and 12 is when you open all your presents and stuff.
Yeah.
Then you go to bed, wake up really late, and then you'll go to like a Christmas lunch and have drinks again.
Yeah,
But-
it's the same in, I know Germany is like that. That's
Really?
when they do it as well. That's what, because obviously Taylor's going over there for Christmas.
Yeah.
And they celebrate on the 25th for whatever reason.
I didn't even make this happen, but I'm not going to stop it.
So for anyone who can't see, Andy's laptop has just started putting on the television his other podcast, the new artwork for his other podcasts, and now that is the background to our podcast. This fucking asshole.
That's kind of funny though, right?
That was funny.
That happened.
I believe you planned it though.
I didn't. I promise I didn't. But I couldn't have told you anything better. Imagine if it was something naughty that came up.
That would have been better.
Yeah.
That would have been funny.
Like,
Is it celebrating Christmas on the 24th Sri Lankan thing as well?
No, I just think it's like
It's just what you
we
guys
wanted
do.
to open presents, and it just got later and later, and then earlier and earlier, and then eventually they just did it on the 24th. Why? When
Instead.
do you wake up and have mimosas and stuff on Christmas?
No, not
Oh.
really. I know some
How do you
families
celebrate
I know
Christmas?
some families that do though. That will have a mimosa on Christmas morning and that sort of thing.
How do you celebrate?
Mimosa is
What is a
champagne,
mimosa?
champagne and orange juice, isn't it?
That's disgusting. That stuff will get you fucked up.
Yeah. So what was that? What do I do on Christmas morning?
Yeah, what do you do? Like, how does your family celebrate Christmas?
Generally get up. I'm generally yelled at to hurry up and get out of bed so that my little brother can do his presents. And then I've actually made a bit of a habit of doing some sort of training on Christmas morning, purely out of guilt for what I know is coming the next couple of days though. Not because I'm like, I need to train from a performance perspective. It's like, you're going to write your body off for the next 3 days with Christmas Day, Boxing Day, and then the day after just feeling shit about myself. So you should probably do something now to get it out of the way. So I'll generally go for a run or something on Christmas morning. Then we come back, do breakfast, and then start doing extended family stuff depending on what side of the family we're doing. So like we have dad's and mum's side of the family. So generally we do one on Christmas Day and one on Boxing Day.
Yeah. Whereas, see, like we would do something on Christmas Eve, then something on Christmas Day, and then
Okay.
Boxing Day is a day of like just resting, chilling out.
Yeah. See, Boxing Day for me is normally our bigger one because there's generally an effort on Boxing Day for all the cousins to be there. So that's the one time where we generally get all the cousins to the same house for
Yep.
drinks that day. And that's when the Boxing Day test match starts.
What's that?
Cricket, Andy.
Oh,
That's when the cricket starts, so everyone sits down and watches a bit of the cricket with some beers, and we generally end up playing drinking games and stuff all day as well.
see, that seems fun. Playing drinking games and playing games, even backyard cricket.
Backyard cricket's a lot
But
of fun.
you know, watching sports.
Yeah, we understand that you're not a big sport person, Andy.
I'm a huge sports person. I know that cricket involves a bat and a ball. There's spin on the ball sometimes.
Sometimes. Seam, swing,
yeah.
bit of everything.
Sometimes you need to scrape up the ball a bit to make it bounce funny. You can even use like a little bit of tacky on the ball. That's what the Aussies do, right? No?
I know the joke that you were trying to make, but you stuffed it up because it had nothing to do with making the ball bounce weird.
Oh, what does it do? None
of your business, dick. No, so they tried to use sandpaper to rough up one side of the ball so that when they bowl it, if they can keep the seam upright and have the rough side on one side, then the wind catches the air, the rough side catches the air and drags towards it in the air. So it doesn't make it bounce funny, it makes it move differently in the air.
Through the air. Huh, that's interesting.
There's a lot of tactics involved in cheating.
Yeah.
Maybe. Not in cricket, but in cheating.
In general?
In general, yeah.
What is the funniest way you've seen someone cheat or you've cheated in the past?
Cheating. Oh, I saw in like year 10 exams, there was the kid sitting next to me that had, it was a maths exam and you had to remember a whole bunch of formulas, and he had all the formulas written up his forearm.
Yep.
And like it was the long sleeve shirt, so then he was like opening up the gap between the button and the shirt, and like dragging it up and down, and he got caught and had to undo his thing and show the teacher, and like there was formulas all up his arm for different stuff that he had to remember for the exam.
Wow.
That was pretty funny. Writing on the inside of the water bottle label and then sticking it back on.
That's genius.
Yeah. But now you're not allowed to have, like in my uni exams, you're not allowed to have a water bottle with a label on it. You have to take the label off if you're going to have a water bottle in the exam. Yeah. And it can't be on the table. It has to be on the floor.
That's super intelligent. I remember, like, when I was doing the HSC, they had kids that would leave stuff in the bathroom, and then, like, anyone who went to the bathroom during that exam had to be like, talked to afterwards, because, like,
oh, really?
They had to figure out who it was.
Yeah, right. Did they figure it out?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Don't you love when someone does something wrong and they semi get caught, but then they just throw themselves under the bus? Like, die with a lie, surely.
Yes.
Like, go with it for a little while.
Well, is it the prisoner's dilemma? Like, when you get caught. So, like, if you and me did a robbery and we both get caught, is it in your best interest to squeal on me? Or do you have enough faith in me that I'm not going to squeal and then we both walk? Like, do you take the bargain?
Personally, I think it's in my best interest to squeal on you because I believe you're going to squeal.
Yeah. And is that what you would? Because, like, I'm kind of loyal to a fault and I will not squeal.
Oh,
like,
well, there you go. Then no, I wouldn't. But I have to trust that you're like that. That's the biggest thing you need to have.
Yeah, but do you trust that I'm like that?
I don't know. We're not committing a robbery yet, so.
Yeah, but this is for later. We'll talk about it after the podcast.
Yeah, I think I trust that you wouldn't squeal. Yeah, but there's certain other people that I'd be like, nah, fuck, I know they're in there talking shit, so. So see you later.
Because that's a real conundrum for people, and that's why, I mean, you see it in like TV shows all the time. But if you do have two perps, like, you will get them separated, and you will tell the other person, "Hey, Steve's in there,
ratting,
telling us everything." And if you have like the slightest amount of information that you can use to pry, like, he even told us how you open the lock. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And then they're like, wait, did he? Well, how else will they know that?
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. There's like an interrogation tactic that they use in Australia where they don't have as many,
I don't think waterboarding is
as many rights over here as to what they can say to suspects.
Yeah.
And it's just like
they can't lie or something.
Yeah, they can't lie and stuff, but they are allowed to, and what they do is spend the first portion of an interview asking questions that they already know the answers to. so that then they get a gauge, and then they can come back and be like, well, we know you're lying about that because this is what actually happened, and that generally leads people into like they already know everything, so then they just start to like lay everything on the table.
That's so smart. It is actually really like clever. Like police get such a bad rap all the time because all we see is like,
the bad stuff,
highway patrol and
I was
crappy stuff. But when they do cool stuff,
highway patrol.
when they do cool stuff, like can I talk about your dad being a cop?
Yeah.
Because too late, I just did.
Yeah.
But like what your dad's does in the police force, like that's cool stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Do you think that the police should have more leeway in what they're allowed to do with interrogation and that sort of thing? Not to the point of like waterboarding and stuff, but like to the point of being allowed to lie about things to try and pry either not confessions but more information.
No, I think there needs to be rules in place to protect all parties. Both parties.
To protect people that are potentially innocent in an interrogation?
Well, there's three
Is that what
things.
you're
There's
thinking?
three things that you have to protect. You've got to protect the person who, especially in Australia, is like it's like the burden of proof is on the Crown, right, to prove that that person's guilty.
Yeah.
It's not the other way around, where the burden of proof is on the person to prove that they're innocent.
Like it used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think in America it is like that. I think it's slightly different.
It's slightly different, but it's still innocent until proven guilty.
It is, but like the burden of proof is on the innocent person
Yeah,
to prove
yeah.
they're not guilty, whereas here it's on the burden's on the prosecutor to prove that they
Yeah.
are guilty.
Yeah.
So there's three things. You've got to respect the person, you've got to respect the police officer and their job, but then you've also got to respect the process. And if you start having like grey areas within the process, then you're not respecting the process, and then things get super dicey because when you're proving stuff or when you're talking about things, like who knows where you got this information, where it is, and what you're doing with it.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree. Do you think that maybe the states are allowed too much leeway
Maybe. I think every state's different though.
in America?
In America, yeah. Like
That's
I don't know
true.
what it's like. These are going down pretty good.
Do you think that we should tax alcohol higher in Australia?
For what reason?
Burden on the health system?
Shut up, Steve.
No, I was having this discussion with someone the other day
Yeah.
because in a lot of northwestern European countries,
Yeah, it is
the
taxed
tax
high.
on alcohol is so high that it's very hard to drink that much because you just can't afford it. And part of the reason they did that originally was to reduce the amount of violence
Yep.
in the streets from people drinking too much. And then obviously a carry-on effect that had was less people getting things like cirrhosis and that sort of stuff from too much drinking or alcohol-related disease, lifestyle-related diseases, because they didn't have as much access to drinking alcohol just because of how expensive it was. Do you think that taking away the biased point of view that we drink in moderation most of the time, so it's not having it's having a minimal, if any, health impact to the point where we're going to be a burden on the system? If you take that out of the equation and your biased point of view, do you think that raising the tax so that people maybe of a lower socioeconomic status that are more at risk of developing sort of alcohol-related diseases, addiction diseases and that sort of thing as well, do you think that that would be effective to try and then reduce the burden on the healthcare system as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the greatest thing you can ever do with a substance is tax it and use that money to
Promote awareness and stuff?
promote awareness, but also to deal with the issues that are caused by it.
Mm.
So like if one bottle of beer, let's say, is $5, a portion of those funds should go towards dealing with the excess that beer or alcohol in general cause.
Mm.
So I think you're exactly right.
Yeah.
But I agree. I think that for any substance,
Yeah.
whether it be like heroin, cocaine, meth, like they should all just be decriminalized and systems set up so that people can be looked after.
Yep. Do you think that although then by decriminalising it, do you then want it to also be a market for produce as well,
Yeah.
like a goods and service?
Yeah. I mean, like if it can be regulated, taxed.
Do you think that becomes safer as well?
Yeah, because then you're not dealing with like shitty product that has fentanyl in it,
Yeah.
and it's safer for everyone. You can set up clinics where things can be administered safely, so you don't have a huge amount of like STIs or any of those communicable diseases passed around, and people can people can. You know how, I think it was like episode 2 or something, we talked about like people being able to like give back to society. Like you can
episode
be
3, our outdoors one.
Yeah, you can be like functionally alcoholic.
Yeah.
It's not the best, but at least you're doing something, right? And like you're on the steps to being a contributor to society.
I know we have spoken about this before, but I just want to recap it. Do you think that everyone who's part of a society has a, what's the word? Not requirement, but like a ethical requirement. What's the word for it?
For what?
Like to contribute to society. Like it's a
responsibility?
Yes, like everyone has an ethical responsibility as a part of that society to also contribute back to it.
Yes. To an extent. Like what you contribute can be like so insignificant, or it could be so great.
Yeah.
You know, like art is a contribution to society. It might not be a useful contribution if we're at a time of war, or if we're, in some sort of weird Great Depression. But I saw like it's the little things that matter, right? Like, did you see that post about those dudes that like left work to like just cook a barbie for the fireys or whatever it was? Like,
yeah,
just little things like that. Like, they're just trying to help out. Like,
yeah,
and you don't have to do a whole bunch. Like, running your business is contributing to society. You doing what you do as a coach.
Yeah, it's contributing to the economy or to people's health or
That's
whatever.
it. Everything. And some things are more fruitful than others. Like what I do here at Raw Barbell is probably touching more people's lives than what I do at Aquaria, which is purely like, it's kind of like selfish, but it's like a bit of art, but mainly it's just like,
You enjoy doing it.
No, like for the people that, the
Yeah.
service is just like, look after my fish tank, because one, I don't have the capability to do it, but I also just want it to look really nice.
Yeah.
Whereas this is like, you're changing people's lives.
Yeah, for sure. You know what else changes people's lives?
Cocaine?
Yeah. For the better or for the worse?
No, just in general.
In general, yeah. Care not to comment. Christmas.
Christmas does change people's lives.
Christmas does change people's lives. What are you getting for Christmas this year?
From other people?
I
don't know.
Any of them? No.
Nah.
Do you really ask for a gift? Like if someone says, "What do you want?" You'll tell them. Or
So
are you someone who's like,
mum and dad asked, and I was like, yeah, actually I do need stuff. I haven't told them yet, but I'll tell them tonight, because I want to get, you know how strongmen have like the double belt?
Yep.
I want to get one of those underbelts.
Yeah.
Because guess what? I have to deadlift at this comp in March.
260 for reps on an axle bar.
Oh wow, that's a good guess. It's almost as if I had told you already.
What is your current deadlift?
237.
What's your current deadlift on an axle bar?
200.
So you need to put on
60 kilos. Or
28% in
3 months.
3 months for a guy who's already almost at peak.
Am I?
Are you? Are you going to just cycle steroids?
No, I am determined to do this clean.
Okay.
And I'm determined to win my category, not this year, or next year, in a couple of years, clean.
Clean. Okay.
Yeah.
Is
Because I'm gonna
strongman at the Arnold's tested?
No,
No. Okay.
I don't think strongman is ever tested.
Ever tested anyway? Yeah. It's like that Rogan podcast with what's his name?
Oberst?
With Oberst.
Where he's like, yeah, we're tested.
And he's
all
like,
the
what are
time."
they testing you for? To make sure you are on a shitload of steroids.
Yeah, but yeah, I feel like Oberst really let us down on that box. Now that I'm in the strongman community, he's like, I'm equipolating myself.
He's done 2 strongman comps and he's like, he let us down. The strongman community.
I just think there were a lot of half truths and stuff on that podcast, and I worry
like
about
what,
that.
for example?
Well, the deadlifting stuff, like where he was talking. Did you listen to that
Yes.
whole podcast?
Yeah. How he said that he doesn't think that unless you need to do it for a sport that you should deadlift.
Yeah, which is like, I think is incorrect. Like, I think you can build a huge amount of capacity for day-to-day life through pulls, through deadlifts. And then he mentioned, instead of doing deadlifts, why don't you do cleans and hang cleans? And I was like, you know what? That would be maybe something that I would leave off the table rather than deadlifts. But you disagree. I can see it in your face.
No.
You tell me.
I just disagree that you need to traditional deadlift, I guess, is what I would say. I would say like maybe a hex bar deadlift for general pops would probably be better than a normal deadlift, a conventional deadlift. And it really comes down to how much you're loading it as well. I don't think, apart from people who need to do it for a sport, I don't think anyone needs to ever deadlift to maximal.
Like maximal weights?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind you saying
Like,
that.
in fact, I think unless you need to do it from a sport point of view, so unless you're a strength athlete, I would almost say it's silly to ever deadlift to maximal weight.
Yeah. Yeah, I can say that.
Yeah.
But that's not what he said.
No, he said they should never deadlift.
should
I
never
understand that. Yeah.
Like-
I think deadlifting is important for multiple reasons, even just to the point of, so with your mum, for example, the other day, we were doing RDLs on Tuesday and just teaching and making sure that like pelvic position was proper and engagement was good.
How bad is that on her though?
Well, she's naturally very
Lord knows.
anteriorly tilted in everything, like even when she squats. So I think, like I got her to squat to a box on Tuesday as well, and just making sure that as she came off the box, you know how when people come off the box, they brace by pushing the pelvic tilt forward.
Yeah.
Just making sure that she was at least maintaining what's normal for her
Yeah.
as well, which I think is massive in most people. Because even I do it, and I feel like my L5, S1 junction gets super jacked up after I do limited range box squats,
Yeah.
like normal back squats to a box, because I come off the box and instantly anteriorly tilt, and that jacks up that low spine.
Yeah.
But I think deadlifts are really good just because of the mechanical disadvantage that they have to teach people to brace properly. I think it's a really simple way. It's not a simple movement, but it's a very simple way for people to feel when they're not doing it properly. Because as soon as they do it properly, they know they're doing it properly.
Yeah.
Like you can feel it straight away in a deadlift. But I do agree with the fact that they don't need to deadlift maximally or heavy really ever. I think maybe high rep and use it more as a core supplement rather than necessarily leg strength.
And when you say maximally, you mean like they should never do like a heavy 5 or heavy 3 or heavy 1?
Yeah.
Yeah, I disagree. I think they can.
Okay.
I think it's like, because teaching someone to strain while having proper loading mechanics, so being able to disassociate their upper body from their lower body through their midline is like very important, and can only be done like, because they're gonna, in their day-to-day life, eventually they'll have to move a rock or move a table or something where they're at a mechanically disadvantaged position, and having had contact time with that stuff is only a good thing. I'm not saying that you train like how we train, but I do think that there is benefit to getting to somewhat heavy weights.
Yeah, I can see the argument. I also think I'm being a little bit of a hypocrite because I would, for day-to-day life, get people to do odd object pickups and stuff fairly regularly, which is getting to an even less, not mechanically disadvantaged position, but an even less, I guess, supported position where, like, if I get someone to pick up a sandbag, it's very hard to stay in correct posture, neutral spine to pick up that. So you're almost asking a general pop to get into a bad position and load in a bad position. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And it's like there's a lot more variables involved when you have a sandbag than there is a barbell. Like you can do a barbell every time, like almost exactly the same.
Yeah.
But like a sandbag, every time you pick it up, like there might be like minuscule changes.
Yeah, with where the sand is in the bag.
But what's funny is like sometimes like you have someone that has a lot of pain when they do deadlifts, and then you get them picking up a sandbag, and they're fine with it, and you're like, you know what, like that looks worse, but they have no discomfort because there's that like mental block in their head that says, you know, deadlifts are bad. This is good.
Yeah. Anyway, getting back to what I was talking about, what do you need for Christmas? And tell me what you need first, and I'm going to follow.
The belt.
The belt, yeah.
I want the belt. That's really all I need.
That's all you really need?
Yeah.
Do you think it's funny that you get to a point
in socks.
Socks.
Underwear.
Odd socks.
Underwear.
Yeah, I definitely need more underwear as well.
Do you do shopping? 'Cause I know I'm hijacking your question.
Yeah.
But like, I actually don't shop for underwear or socks and stuff.
Because you know you get a new set for Christmas every year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that'll last me the year. I don't know if that's what they're meant to last for or not, but
yeah, mine last probably. Mine are getting real ratty by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Like definitely needing new underwear. Isn't it funny that like underwear and socks, like you're happy to wear around with like shitty little holes and stuff in them, but pants and shirts, like if you had splits and holes and stuff in them, you'd be like, oh, I'm not wearing this out of the house.
yeah, it is funny.
So my question is, well, not even a question, my statement is, isn't it funny that when you get to a certain age, you no longer are asking things that you necessarily want? You start asking for things that like you actually need, like they're a necessity for you.
Yes.
Once you get to a certain age, what age do you reckon that happens? Do you think it's once you move out of home and you're no longer like supported that you start being like, hey, I need.
You know what? I need a new toaster, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. But also, I wonder about presents in the sense that like, should you, when you're buying a present, should you buy something for someone that they wouldn't buy for themselves? Or do you just buy like something that is a necessity for them?
So this is where I'm sort of semi-leading with this question, is that like when I get asked, what do you want for Christmas? And I say something that I need, or something that I said the other day that I got in trouble for suggesting. Even if, let's say it's new training gear because I'm running out of training gear or whatever, and
I thought you were sponsored.
No, I'm not. And it comes back with that like.
You should be sponsored.
Oh, thank you. And it comes. I think they know that I drink too much. That's why they won't sponsor me. Everyone.
The beer companies. They should sponsor you.
They should sponsor me. They should. When so they come back and say, well, I don't want to get you something that you need. I want to get you something that you want. So it's like it's a gift, like that, something that you wouldn't buy for yourself. And it's like, but save me the money of having to go out and buy it. Like that's a gift. That's how I think.
Yeah.
But then a lot of people are like, no, but I want you to open something that's like, oh, I can play with this or I can run around with this like what you did when you were a kid. And I think that's where it stems from, is that you wanted to open something that got you all excited and like, I can play with my new Legos or go play with my new game on the PlayStation today for Christmas, as opposed to being like, I'm running out of training shorts, like, can you get me some more training shorts? Like that sort of thing. Or a toaster for home, like, oh, the toaster broke, can you buy me a new toaster for Christmas?
Yeah, well, I think that changes because as a child, you don't have any needs. All your needs are met.
Yeah.
So everything, like, if you were to try and buy a child their needs, they'd be like, what the hell's this? I'm already going to get a pencil case in like a month when I start school.
Yeah.
But as you get older, like, those needs aren't met by other people.
And
like,
the needs are much larger and broader as
yeah.
well.
So, like, if someone can just help you out a little bit, that's a huge deal.
I've said previously, and this is one of the things I got in trouble for. Mum asked me, "What do you want for Christmas?" And I said, "Whatever your budget is,
Yeah.
like the amount of money that you're willing to spend, buy me a fuel card for that much money, so I
Yeah.
don't have to pay for fuel for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
That would be really helpful to me." And she was like, "No, I'm not doing that. I'm buying you a gift." I'm like, "That would be a gift because I don't
Yeah.
have to then spend the money on it." But you're right. I also see the other point where people do want to buy you something that you wouldn't go out and get for yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm
Well,
also,
you wouldn't buy a fuel card for yourself. You just buy the
you
fuel.
just buy the fuel, yeah. But I'm also one of those people that if I realise that I really need something,
Yeah.
I'll just go and get it. So it's very rare that I get to that time of Christmas where I'm like, oh shit, I still really needed this. So I'm
Yeah.
starting to clutch at straws of things like that would help me out, but I don't really need it either.
But see, I mean, that's the same thing with the belt. Like, I will probably not buy one, but if I do get one for Christmas, like, I will use
You'll
it every
use it every
like,
day.
Well, actually, I won't use it every day because I'm not a big fan of using
Extra
like,
assistance.
extra assistance on everything.
Yeah.
But like for competition, like I'm thinking about getting a deadlift suit.
Mm.
I've never used one. Don't know how they work.
Mm.
But do you know how deadlift suits, squat suits, and bench shirts and stuff work?
No, I believe the bench shirts are stitched to pull your shoulders forward
Yeah.
to help you press. But I don't understand deadlift suits and stuff. I'm assuming they just assist you from going too far into flexion.
Probably.
They just probably tighten up around the midline. It's probably like wearing a third belt.
Yeah. Okay. Have you tried my new knee sleeves on?
Yes.
Did you like them?
Yeah, I did like them. Yeah, they were
Super
very
springy,
cool.
right?
Very springy. Have you squatted in them?
Yeah. I cleaned in them.
How'd that go?
So good.
Really?
Yeah. Like I was so upright, just like bounced straight out of the hole. Cleaned 140 in them.
Wow.
Like easy.
That's impressive.
Yeah. But then the squats, I tried to low bar squat without having practiced it, and
Did not
that
work.
didn't go well. But I think that's more to do with the technique than the
Than anything
sleeves.
else, yeah. You find I keep putting my hand on my chin when I'm talking?
Haven't I been doing that this entire time?
Yeah, and it's like surely it's blocking my sound down
Probably.
to the mic. Yeah.
Do you think Santa is racist?
Do I think Santa's racist?
Yeah. Or was racist?
I
Like, do you think what, like,
think Santa was racist at one point, but I think it was probably because you guys didn't believe in him.
yeah? Do you think that that
You
matters?
guys. Sorry?
The only reason I ask is like, okay, what do you think about slavery? What are your general thoughts on slavery?
I can't answer that question. I don't know how to answer that question in a way that you're not going to twist back at me.
I've never done that ever. Okay, so like, this is the reason I ask it. So obviously these elves that Santa has.
Okay, yeah.
Are they? I know they're happy little workers, but you know they're singing songs like slaves do.
Mm.
So are the elves slaves? And
Yeah.
is this big fat white man?
Picking on the
Is
little
this
people?
like a? Is this analogous to, you know, slavery? He has a white cottony beard, like.
a white cottony beard. Well,
Or
the
am I
elves
just-
are also white, so you're clutching at straws a little bit.
I don't know. They just might be white for the purposes of, you know,
Image.
not being racist. Like they might as well just be in chains.
Might as well. Yeah.
So you think they should be in chains?
Yeah.
The elves.
Yeah. At least during the Christmas period. Can't have people slacking off. There's kids who need toys.
Yeah.
White kids who need toys.
Kids of all races need toys, Steve.
Yeah. Santa's definitely racist. For sure.
Do you,
Well,
you don't want to clarify?
Yeah. Well, even from a, like... So Santa only gives gifts to people who are nice and believe in him, right? Well, as a general rule, Christian countries where Christmas came from the birth of Jesus. Yeah.
Did Christmas come from the birth of Jesus?
Yeah, that's what Christmas Day is.
Did it? Christmas, like, Jesus wasn't born in December. I'm pretty sure, like, what often happens is things like this coincide with similar festivities, and then it becomes a thing.
Go on. Explain, like, you obviously have some sort of knowledge that I'm lacking in the area.
Not for Christmas.
Not for Christmas? Okay, well,
but you keep going with yours. And I'll tell you.
my understanding of Christmas
Yeah.
and why it's called Christmas, Christ,
Yeah.
Mass, is because, I'm not saying it happened on the 25th of December, but that's the day that we've decided to celebrate it.
Yeah.
Because 2000 and whatever years ago, I don't think we had the January, February, March, April, May, June, July moving through the year, right? I don't think we had 12 months of the year. So we've selected a day that we're going to celebrate that. And as a general rule, Christian countries, like predominantly Christian countries, are also fairly predominantly white as well, aren't they? Or am I
I mean, the
wrong
first
in
Christian
that?
countries were not.
The first Christian countries were not, but these days.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Am I right in saying that?
I guess so.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Do you think, being that Christmas, whether if you believe that that's what the holiday started as, Christmas these days is a widely accepted as being one of the big Christian or Catholic holidays, do you think that if you don't believe in that side of things, that you should still be gifted the same, like, holidays and stuff that everyone else is gifted? I know this is a controversial topic, but if we...
No, I like this topic a lot.
Yeah, but if we look at others, because you're thinking of ways to twist it already.
No. I have strong beliefs about this.
Okay, so do you think that because Christmas being a fairly widely accepted Christian holiday, that everyone is allowed to have Christmas Day and Boxing Day and Christmas Eve a lot of time off work for a Christian holiday? Do you think that people who are not Christian should be gifted the same rights in the same way that
on their holidays?
Christians should be gifted, that everyone is gifted that right. Do you think they should be gifted that? For example, should Muslims or people of Islam faith be allowed to have the same public holidays for a Christian holiday, being that they have holidays where you have to give them the time off that Christians are not allowed to have that same holiday off? Does that make sense? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, in periods of Ramadan, like, people don't go to work in certain periods of Ramadan. I think it's like the first however many days or whatever it is. But that isn't extended to Christians, right?
Yeah.
So because Christmas has for so long been now this big thing for everyone, and we're maintaining political correctness by giving people their religious right to have time off work for certain periods of time, should that be extended back the other way in the same way that Christmas has to everyone else? Or should it be taken away, or should we just keep the uneven slant?
Okay. So
that was really poorly explained.
There were a lot of questions and a lot of, like, talking around the subject there.
I would love to have said that straight to the point, but I was really trying to beat around the bush.
Yeah.
To not offend anyone.
Yeah, okay. So these are my thoughts. Firstly, the reason that we have predominantly Christian holidays in Australia is because Australia is what they call a Christian country.
Yeah.
In its founding, it was that, and it still is, ever since we federated. So that's the reason that we still have a lot of those Christian holidays and ideologies, and a lot of our laws and rules and things in society are all based on the Christian faith. So I think Australia is what they call like a Catholic country.
Yeah.
Even.
Yeah, Roman Catholic.
Even though like a vast majority of people within Australia probably aren't Catholic now.
Anymore. Yes. Yeah.
So there's that historical basis for that. Now, in terms of like, should everyone have Christmas off and like the Easter or whatever? Yes, I think people work too much. I think the more holidays, and you know what? I mean, I would even be happy if people just had more holidays off and like not specific public holidays. Like if the rule was that you were to have a
7
certain
weeks
amount
a
of
year.
yeah,
Yeah.
instead of whatever. What do we have?
4.
We have
For
4
most
weeks.
jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not have any public holidays. Like I'd be fine with that too.
Yeah.
I just think that people work too much.
Yeah.
And if you can, it's probably better for the like society at large if people were to just take their time off at different times rather than everyone taking time off at Christmas.
Yeah.
That kind of gets tough and rough for employers.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm.
Now, with the people of other faiths, I think that they should be allowed to have their own time off. Or maybe it should be included in their
Leave time.
leave time, potentially. Especially if we're moving to my proposed
Yeah.
way of doing things.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I don't really care. Like, if your faith dictates that you have to do certain things, take certain amounts of time off, as long as your productivity is up there in general, like that's my hiring or firing, but also like my training and keeping you on. It'd be on that, not on like, hey, I need to have a couple of days off here. But like before that and after that, I'm just the same person. I'm amazingly good at my job.
Yeah.
That's what matters to me. Did I answer the question?
Yeah, you answered the question. I was just, I guess, in a very poor way, asking about I guess if you look at it from an outward perspective.
Yeah, I get it.
The
You're
slant.
just looking at
There's
like
a slant.
you're looking at time in, time out,
Yes.
right? And
Yep.
your like your real question was like, because they benefit from their own time off, should they also get Christmas off?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think if you take into account that Christmas isn't a Christian holiday, it's just a holiday. If you change the name of it, like it's like Anzac Day, it's like Australia Day, all of those things, then we just go like we take the religion out of it. These are just set holidays. Yes, you can have your other holidays as well.
Yeah. Is it a legal requirement for nothing to be open on Christmas Day?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Maybe it is because it's a public holiday. There might be rules regarding like pay, double time, whatever, or time and a half.
Well, actually, no, because like McDonald's and stuff are open on Christmas Day, so it's obviously not a requirement.
It's probably just expensive.
Do you think that so we're getting close to time now, so I'll try and be quick about this. So I'll try and be a little bit more concise this time.
How much time do you have?
We got 7 minutes.
That's enough. You can do this.
Yeah.
I believe in you.
In recent times, we've had a lot of debate and protesting around particular public holidays and what they mean. For example, Australia Day, we've had a lot of protesting, particularly from Indigenous communities, about celebration of repression and that sort of thing. Do you think that if you are someone who holds that belief...
These aren't very Christmassy topics.
No, I know. Well, I wanted to talk all about gifts, but we kept dragging away from it.
Yeah.
We may have to do a second Christmas one.
We can.
Do you think that if you're someone who disagrees with those particular holidays, you should still be allowed to benefit from their time off? Like if you're someone that's protesting against Australia Day due to its repression of your people, do you think you should still be allowed to kick back on that day and do nothing?
Yeah, because see, like you can't confuse protesting something with your rights as a citizen and individual in the country. They're separate. So just because you don't believe that day should fall where it does, doesn't mean that you instantly get banned from doing it. And I think that's what is really hard when you politicize these kind of things, is that you've got to separate your rights as an individual or citizen from the actual your beliefs in the what's wrong?
We got to wrap up. Keep going, but then we got to wrap up.
Oh, okay. Do you want to just wrap up now?
No, finish what you were saying.
Okay, yeah, from your rights is in that.
Yeah.
I guess that's all I had to say.
Okay, just it's 7:10.
Oh, okay.
I got 9:10. Sorry, I gotta be back there.
Oh, okay, cool.
All right, you guys. Thanks for listening to the Not So Christmassy Christmas podcast, episode 15 of the Uneducated Opinions. We hope you guys had a Merry Christmas on Wednesday, so 2 days ago from when this came out. You can find me at Steve Norman 250. Is that not where it's going to be?
No, it's just like when you watch the next episode, you'll understand why I laughed at that.
And you can find Andy at Train with Andy in front of him. Okay, and you can find us at the Uneducated Opinions on Instagram. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you are notified every time we put out a new episode. If you are enjoying the podcast, please share it with your friends. Let them know. I know a couple of people have gotten their friends into it. Damo, thanks again for always mentioning it to everyone. It really helps us out. The more listeners we can get, the more time we're sort of willing to put into the podcast, and we can put out more episodes and do more cool stuff with it as well.
Excellent. Thanks,
Cool.
guys.
Thank you. Bye.